The night in Florence was winding down, the air filled with the last echoes of laughter and the rich scent of Italian food. Inside La Bella Luna, soft light from the chandeliers danced on polished tables, creating a warm, peaceful glow. But in one corner, a storm was brewing. Alexander Moretti, a man accustomed to the spotlight, leaned back in his chair, swirling his wine. His confidence often tipped into arrogance, and tonight was no exception. He was bragging to his two friends about a new business deal, one that would earn him millions. "You see," he declared, his voice filled with pride. "That's the difference between us and everyone else. We make opportunities, the rest just wait for them." His friends nodded eagerly, their laughter a little too loud, their voices a little too careless, as if the restaurant belonged to them. Just then, Isabella approached their table, carrying a tray of appetizers. She moved with a practiced, graceful calm, placing the plates of bruschetta, mozzarella, and warm bread neatly before them. "Your starters, gentlemen," she said softly. "Would you like me to bring olive oil as well?" One of his friends smiled politely. "Yes, please." But Alexander didn't respond. He just stared at Isabella, his expression unreadable. Then he turned to his friends and said something in Italian, just loud enough for her to hear. "Guarda questa ragazza," he smirked. "She looks smart, but I bet she only knows how to carry plates." His friends chuckled. "Alexander, be nice," one teased. He just shrugged. "What? It's true," he continued in Italian. "You can tell. People like her. They're just pretty faces working for tips. They don't even understand what we're saying." The laughter grew. Isabella stood there holding her tray. For a moment, her heart sank. She'd heard this kind of careless judgment before, but this time it stung. It was the casual way he dismissed her, as if her worth was less than the wine in his glass. She didn't frown. She didn't show a flicker of emotion. Instead, she looked directly at him, her eyes calm, but with a sharpness that made him blink. "Will that be all, sir?" she asked, her tone polite but firm. He waved a hand dismissively. Yes, go. Bring the main course when it's ready." As she walked away, she heard another quiet laugh, the kind people use when they feel untouchable. Back in the kitchen, she took a deep breath. She could have corrected him, told him how wrong he was. But not yet. Sometimes the best response is the one that waits for the perfect moment. Her coworker Matteo noticed her expression. "Everything okay, Isa?" She smiled faintly. "Just another table." But he knew. "The one in the corner? The man with the expensive watch?" She nodded. "Ah, the rich kind," Matteo sighed. "Always think we're invisible." Isabella smiled sadly. Not invisible, just underestimated. When she returned with their main course, Alexander was laughing again, louder this time. He had no idea the woman he'd insulted understood every single word. Feeling playful, he decided to test her again. "Hey, ragazza," he said with a grin. "Do you even know what this dish is called? Or do you just carry it because the chef tells you?" The question hung in the air, dripping with condescension. Isabella looked at the beautifully plated seafood pasta, and then she looked at him. A small, calm smile touched her lips. She replied in perfect, fluent Italian, her voice smooth and confident. "It's linguine ai frutti di mare," she said, her accent flawless. "And it's one of our chef's specialties. He uses fresh basil and lemon zest to balance the flavor. Would you like extra parmesan with it, Signor Moretti?" The words rolled off her tongue like music. The table went completely silent. Alexander's eyes widened. He froze, his pride cracking like thin glass. His friends glanced at each other, trying to suppress their smiles. For the first time all night, Alexander Moretti was utterly speechless. Isabella held his gaze for a moment longer, her expression calm but steady. Then she turned and walked away, her steps light and graceful. As she disappeared, one of his friends whispered, "I think she understood everything you said earlier." Alexander didn't reply. He just stared at his plate, his face pale with embarrassment. Somewhere near the kitchen, Isabella smiled quietly to herself, not with pride but with a sense of peace. She hadn't needed to shout or insult him. She had simply shown him with intelligence and dignity that respect is something you can't buy.